If I leave you with nothing else, just know this for sure.
Trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss.
You don't choose your passions choose you. And all of us are gifted with certain passions.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you as well. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's look at one of my favorite life hacks, learn how billionaires think. Okay, let's kick it off with lesson #1. Fill your cup with Oprah Winfrey.
If I leave you with nothing else, just know this for sure. There is not one thing that has ever happened to you, not one experience, not one encounter, not one crisis, not one joyful thing that hasn't happened just to make you better and help you rise. Every single thing you're calling in, whether you know it or not, and when you figure out that you are calling it in, when you actually start meditating or praying or doing or having a spiritual practice, which is the #1 thing you need if you want to be successful in the world. You need something that gives back and nourishes you, regardless of what you call that. You need to fill your cup so that you can be so full your cup runneth over and you have enough to give to other people. If you don't fill your cup, you end up dried up. You end up tired, exhausted, and don't have enough to give to other people. You end up resentful every time somebody asks you because your cup is empty and now they want some of yours. So your #1 job is to fill your cup and make yourself whole. That's your job.
Lesson #2, have a high pain tolerance with Elon Musk.
There's a friend of mine who's got a great saying about creating a company, which is trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So, I mean, what tends to happen is it's sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company. Yeah. And then reality sets in, things don't go as well as planned, customers aren't signing up, the technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought. Yeah. And then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession, and it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company, I would advise people to have a high pain tolerance.
Lesson #3, follow your calling with Jeff Bezos.
You don't choose your passions choose you. And all of us are gifted with certain passions, and the people who are lucky are the ones who get to follow those things. And I always advise our young employees, I meet with interns and so on, you can have, and my kids too, you can have a job, or you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And if you can somehow figure out how to have a calling, you have hit the jackpot, because that's the big deal.
Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
Become so skilled, so vigilant, so flat out fantastic at what you do that your talent cannot be dismissed.
If you're doing anything interesting in the world, you're going to have critics. The only way, if you absolutely can't tolerate critics, then don't do anything new or interesting.
I always did everything back-ass half-words. You know, I like to challenge myself.
Lesson #4, learn how to sell with Mark Cuban.
I'm going to give you Mark Cuban rule #1. And whenever you forget this rule, you're already out of business. In every business, sales cures all. Has anybody ever heard of a business that had 0 sales that was successful? Doesn't happen. Yet a lot of people start their business thinking, I have a great idea. I'm going to do this. This is amazing. I'm going to go raise money. I just sold this idea. And then it comes back and it's like, okay, you got to sell that product or you got to sell that service. That's the first and main key to a successful business. When you're getting ready to start, you have to answer that question.
Lesson #5, make the best product with Sarah Blakely.
The process of me cutting the feet out of my pantyhose while trying to get the prototype made before I launched it was 2 years. So there was a year solid of me driving in North Carolina on the weekends and at night, or taking time off from work to go and work on the prototype, get it made. I learned so many things that I didn't know as a consumer. It had never dawned on me, that men were making all of our undergarments. So I learned very quickly that the industry had been taking an average waistband size between a small and an extra large and putting the same waistband on every pair. Exactly, that's what I said. I said, that's not working. We're really uncomfortable. And they were doing it to cut cost in production. So I immediately changed that. In a Spanx waistband, a size small gets a small, medium gets a medium, and so on. Makes perfect sense, right? I also realized that they had been putting a tiny rubber cord inside the waistbands that had been there forever. Well, we had made so many advancements in yarns that they no longer needed the rubber cord, but no one had stopped to say, do we still need to put this? So I immediately took the rubber cord out of it. And another thing I learned was the way that they were doing sizing was just blew me away. They would figure out a size by putting them on plastic forms. And they would all put it on a plastic form. They had different size forms, and they would stand back with their clipboards and go, yep, that's a size medium. And I'd lean in and I'd go, ask her how she feels. So at Spanx, we put our product on women. My mother, my grandmother who's 90, my sister-in-law, Cassie, all of my friends, the girls at Spanx, we're testing it on real women. And we want to test it more than 2 seconds to say, yep, that looks like a medium. We have people wear it for a week, wash it, tell us if it rolled, did it move, did it stay in place, how did you feel? Very concerned with Spanx garments and how they made you feel.
Lesson number 6, be prepared to be misunderstood with Mark Zuckerberg.
It's really good to be idealistic, but be prepared to be misunderstood. Anyone working on a big vision is going to get called crazy, even if you end up right. Anyone taking on a complex problem is going to get blamed for not fully understanding it, even though it's impossible to know everything up front. Anyone taking initiative will always get criticized for moving too fast, because there's always someone who wants to slow you down.
And lesson number 7, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is practice with Joe Gebbia.
What role does practice play in being successful as both an entrepreneur and a creator?
This is such a good topic, because I feel like there's such a parallel to practice in sports and preparing yourself for the game when game time comes, that there is preparing yourself as an entrepreneur for when the ideas present in front of you. For when the opportunity falls in front of you. It would be such a mistake, I think, for people to think that, Airbnb, we just woke up and there was the idea. What people maybe don't realize is that Brian had his entrepreneur pursuits long before the company, and I was on my own lineage, my own path of constantly trying things out, like being in the gym of entrepreneurship. And the majority of things that I tried, you've never heard of.
Right.
The people watching right now have never heard of these things, but that was okay, because it was like tuning up a muscle that you see an opportunity in the world and you're ready to make something of it. Like you're ready to have, again, transition something from your head into a sketchbook and out into the world. And the more that you can get in the habit of that cycle, the Airbnb concept just happened to come along in this long lineage of other ideas that didn't go anywhere, but were exercises, practice, the batting cage of entrepreneurship, right? So I feel like, one of the best lessons that I've learned is just constantly be in that moment, that act of creation.
Yeah.
Even if it sucks, even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if nobody in the world knows about it, it's like have an idea, get it down, and bring it to life. You can throw it away after that, but man, that muscle is so, so important to hone.
Now I have a special bonus clip from me on how to raise your standards that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. Where do you need to practice more in your business? Number 2, how can you fill your cup this week? And number 3, what will you do to improve your sales skills? And if you promise to take action after watching this video, give me a #believe in the comments to make it official. One of the hardest things in the world to do is to raise your standards. Everything that you are surrounded by keeps you where you are. Your friends, your family, the media you consume, your habits, everything. Your environment has been perfectly created to keep you exactly where you are right now. If you want to raise your standards, you need to raise your environment. I met up with a friend of mine recently who I've known for 12 plus years, and he was talking about how much I changed over the years. And for those of you hardcore fans of mine, you can go back on my content and see how much I've changed. But specifically for him, he's an entrepreneur. I've seen his business grow over the years. And he talked about how much more willing I was to be truthful, to be honest, to push him when it was uncomfortable, and believe in him even harder, to say the things that are uncomfortable that need to be said that will help him get to where he needs to be, to believe in people more than they believe in themselves. He's seen the changes in me and how much more direct I am, how much more confident I am, and how that's helped him directly in his business and his life. Where did that come from? It came from my videos. If you go back and watch my old content, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I loved what I was talking about. I thought it could help, but I didn't have the emotional commitment to the words. A lot of my messaging and belief has stayed the same, but my confidence and my commitment and my standards have raised because of the videos that I consumed, because my environment was a certain way and it was pretty good. But now in watching my own channel, watching my own content, being a subscriber to myself, making my videos for me, and then sharing it with the world, I feel like I have all these people on my wall and more in my ear every day. I've got Steve Jobs talking to me every day. I got Oprah Winfrey in this ear. I got Elon Musk back over here. I've got all these people every day, all these successful people in my ears constantly. When you are around successful people, you will become more successful. When you hang around these people, you will start to think like they think. You will adopt their mindset. You will see the world the way that they see the world. And so you have a choice. Look at your current environment. Look at the people who you're currently hanging out with. Look at the media that you're currently consuming. Does it lift you up? Does it build you to be a better version of you? The thing that you want to go off and do, the thing that you need most in your life, are you surrounding yourself with that enough in your environment? Are you taking enough of it in? I want more belief in my life, and so I get a daily injection of belief through my channel, right? I inject myself with belief every day so that if you come around me and you've got a cold and you sneeze on me, right? You're a negative person, you're pessimistic, you sneeze on me with your negativity, I'm good because I have so much belief in me from the injection. If you want to learn how to focus on your strengths, I think you're going to enjoy the video right there next to me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I think the most important is knowing your strengths.
You know your strengths, you milk them.
And I need to play to my strength.